Hello and welcome to we're going over the hill here. No, we're not, oh yeah. We're gonna hit the halfway point in this countdown. The long road of this countdown from 106 to 1. We're gonna pass the halfway point in this episode, so almost there. We're about at the point where these are movies that I would say that maybe rent worthy at least. They're not movies that I hate, but they're not movies that I love. They're movies that, meh. Number 70, Mechanic Resurrection. To be honest, I didn't see the first one, and there's not much to worry about, not much to be concerned with. It has a very Statham feel. It feels like something you've seen before. To be honest, if you told me it was Transporter 4, I would have believed it. You just kind of tweak a couple of names, and that's really all there is to it. Nothing noteworthy. Surprising that Jessica Alba was in this too. It's shocking. 69, Bleed for This. I think it's interesting that there's two different movies about two different boxers that both fought. And you kind of get the perspective of both. If you're a big fan of Paz or Duran, you can really do some. You can have yourself a double feature and be disappointed. Actually, honestly, through all of this, I think the shining star, if anything, Aaron Eckhart. It's the first time I've seen Aaron Eckhart do something that didn't feel like some different flavor of Aaron Eckhart. It felt like somebody else. Number 68, Don't Think Twice. Movie about a bunch of comedians who are in a troupe where one of them gets a Saturday Night Live type gig, and there's a bit of jealousy and the like within the group that didn't make it, and it's very on the nose for the comedy industry and the little circles that there are. Let's hang out until one of us makes it, and then we just hate each other for completely different reasons. 67, Keeping Up with the Joneses. Zach Galifianakis, I'm not a big fan of his movies. Not since The Hangover, and as far as The Hangover is concerned, I don't think he's the best part of it. There's a bunch of comedies that feel like they should be straight to DVD, and this is certainly one of them. 66, American Honey. I don't have a preference. I don't like movies that have that kind of almost like a vlog type. The camera's just doing whatever. There's no stability to any of it, and I don't like movies like that. I like a camera on a tripod. I like a camera still. I don't mind it every now and again, but this movie just feels like an idea that woke up a Friday morning and said, hey, let's do a movie about this. And then, but what's the script? There's no script, just go. I don't know, not strong enough. And the material isn't really that captivating for me. That's me. A lot of people really dig that movie. Again, when there's certain aspects of real life that you experience and they're covered in a movie, it's just like, yeah, I don't really care to live this type of stuff over. But yeah, I'm in the minority. I am certainly in the minority, it seems, of people who do not care for this movie. But I didn't completely hate it. It's 66. It's not 92 or 106. 65, Free State of Jones. A movie that really had no business being released in June. That's number one. Number two, it's an okay movie. It's a February, March release. I'd consider most of these, good rental movies. This whole block probably. 64, London Has Fallen. The first one was far better, and especially if you consider that the same characters are being carried over. You would think that, like, some of the, like, I get it, we're supposed to get rid of some of our suspension of disbelief, but in this same world where things from Olympus Have Fallen has happened, none of this shit would happen. Like, it's so out there. But if you want to just have your home theater up and hear loud explosions, certainly a decent movie to rent. 63 all the way, the HBO movie with Bryan Cranston as Lyndon Johnson. Not very familiar with the history of Lyndon Johnson, but Bryan Cranston, great actor. There's that. The movie was okay. Again, like I could talk 20. I'm gonna have 20 times where I'm just basically saying it's okay. 62. Everybody wants some. Guys, Linklater, for the most part, just I don't see eye to eye on a lot of his stuff. While people say that this is a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, Dazed and Confused just felt better for so many different reasons, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. I really get it that Linklater has this, people hanging out style, which is why Boyhood doesn't work. But some of it just doesn't flow as smoothly as something like Dazed and Confused. But that's just my opinion. Again, in the minority here. 61, The Girl on the Train. Whoever started comparing this to Gone Girl needs to bang their head into a wall, because the only like similarities to this and Gone Girl are like people are married. Like it's a thriller. Like this year's Gone Girl, like that I'm sorry, I'm not accepting that. The movie is, I don't know, it's nowhere near Gone Girl level, and may David Fincher curse whoever said that. That being said, it's an okay, like, rental thriller. It's, you think of these Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Malice, these classic, what else? It's something that Ashley Judd's been in. Pick any Ashley Judd movie from the early 2000s. Those are like, nice rental thrillers. That's what Girl on the Train is. If I had spent anything more than $6 to see this movie, that's where those monthly cards come in handy. Number 60, Family Fang. A completely out there movie. It's a family of pranksters, and the kids grow up, wanting to, screw their heads on straight. And it really is a unique enough ride. Again, we're at 60, so it's not incredible, but I was intrigued, especially considering the subject matter. It's nothing that's incredibly noteworthy. 59, The Conjuring 2. In a year where horror really, really dominated, this kind of just fell by the wayside for me. Sort of predictable. What bothered me was they opened up with the Amityville story, and I really wanted them to stay there. I would like to see a different angle of the true Amityville story, but alas, I guess maybe personally I was just taken out of it the second they moved away from the Amityville house, but I don't know. It's okay. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's just there was better horror this year. Like, say, number 58, Lights Out. Certainly, the YouTube short is better and gets more across in less time. The YouTube short is stronger, but not terrible. And you have to keep in mind that I didn't know what the YouTube short was. I had never seen the YouTube short going into Lights Out, so I appreciated it a bit more on a first viewing. But then when I saw the YouTube short, I was like, oh, right, that is probably better. 57, The Program. I don't know technically when this was released. I think it was just straight to Blu-ray in the States. I would say that Lance Armstrong had nothing to do with this movie, because it's brutal for his character. And interesting enough to see that side, a complete just gutting of the Lance Armstrong character and fall from grace, so to speak. Again, fun rental. 56 passengers. This movie doesn't know what it is. It's not really an action movie, it's not really a sci-fi movie, it's not really a romance, but it tries to do all of those things, and that's unfortunate. It doesn't do anything well, but it tries to do a bunch of different things. Why did this come out in December? Why did that go up against Rogue One? Just weird timing. Number 55, one of the more shocking movies that I actually kind of enjoyed, Equals, with the human equivalent to paint, Kristen Stewart, actually putting in a decent enough performance. She has a very slim comfort zone as far as her acting ability, but you know, there's not much for her to need to do in this movie, and I actually found it quite captivating. Again, for the subject matter, and again, not incredible, an intriguing story. I don't know if I'd ever want to watch it again. I certainly don't think I want to own it for anything more than $5. But again, it's a good rental. 54, Neighbors 2. They tackled a couple of social subjects, which was nice. But other than that, it's Neighbors 1, wrapped in some, I mean, the gags were better in Neighbors 1. This needed a sequel. 53, The Invitation. It's kind of like a whodunit of sorts. You're just trying to figure out which person is wrong and which person is right, and who's doing what and who's right and who's wrong. And a thriller. I wouldn't call it a horror. It's been listed as horror in some places, and it's not a horror movie. It's a thriller, a mystery, a suspense. I wouldn't call it a horror at all. It's hard to talk about it without really giving things away. There's a dinner party, and suspicious things start happening. And one of our main characters, the bootleg Tom Hardy, starts thinking that there's a bit of a cult thing happening, and certainly rent it, because we're in the rent neighborhood as far as I'm concerned. 20 movies where CP says rent it. 52, I'm gonna get more flack for this, Neon Demon. Nicholas Winding Refn is a really beautiful filmmaker. He makes some colorful, gorgeous looking film. As far as keeping me interested, keeping me enthralled, keeping me captivated, not so much. I mean, I was curious from scene to scene, and you know, you can kind of get an idea of where it's headed, and this movie kind of prepares you for the end. I don't know why the ending was such a big deal to people, but yeah, not great, not horrible, but certainly some Suspiria nods there. At least I picked up on, and I felt if that's not what was intended, then I got a weird mind, I guess. I don't know. 51, and the last film of this junket, Nerve, a movie that certainly the idea is nowhere near fresh, but I think I saw this on a plane, on one of my many plane trips. And I guess the fact that I was strapped in and could not go anywhere might have assisted how I felt about it. But yeah, I was okay with it. Yeah, give it a rent. All right, so that's 70 to 51. Up next, we'll have 50 to 31. And we're almost there. We're past the hump. We've done more than half of these. And there'll be 3 more. 50 to 31, 30 to 11, and then the top 10. So keep me hanging on. Get out my life, why don't you, babe? Ooh. I don't know how to end this.